ॐ आनन्दलीलामयविग्रहाय हेमाभदिव्यै छविसुन्दराय तस्मै महाप्रेमरसप्रदाय चैतन्यचन्द्राय नमो नमस्ते। चैतन्यचन्द्राय नमो नमस्ते। चैतन्यचन्द्राय नमो नमस्ते। जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So I am continuing to read from chapter 18 from the book Teachings of Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained all this to Prakashananda Saraswati. All this what we discussed in the past 2-3 days. So Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained all of these things to Prakashananda Saraswati and told him that Mahaprabhu had heard all this from his own spiritual master. He further informed Prakashananda Saraswati that Mahaprabhu further informed Prakashananda Saraswati that Mahaprabhu's spiritual master had taught him that Srimad Bhagavatam is the actual commentary on the Vedanta Sutra, as stated in Srimad Bhagavatam by Srila Vyasadeva, who is the author of the Vedanta Sutra. So, Srila Vyasadeva is the author of Vedanta Sutra, Srila Vyasadeva is the author of Srimad Bhagavatam, and Mahaprabhu's spiritual master taught him that this Srimad Bhagavatam is the actual commentary on the Vedanta Sutra, and this has been, who has said this, that this is the actual commentary? The author himself, Srila Vyasadeva. So Mahaprabhu informed this to Sri Prakashananda Saraswati. Therefore, one should read the Srimad Bhagavatam. Just by reading the Vedanta Sutra, we will not be able to reach anywhere. We will just roam about in all directions and again come back to nowhere, back to pavilion. Therefore, one should read Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the actual commentary. The essence of Vedanta Sutra is can be one can find it in Srimad Bhagavatam. A student's perfection is to understand the identity of the holy name and the Supreme Lord. Unless one is under the shelter of a realized spiritual master, we say this, we use this term bona fide spiritual master, bona fide spiritual master. What does it really mean? Bona fide means one who is coming under the bona fide disciplic succession. What is bona fide disciplic succession? A The parampara or the succession that begins from the Supreme Lord himself, Krishna. Why? Because he is the creator, he is the maintainer, he is the annihilator, um, he is the Supreme Lord, and there is nothing beyond him. Everything is, he is the source of everything, he is the cause of all causes. Therefore, parampara which does not start from him is not a bona fide parampara. The information, the knowledge about the Supreme Lord must come directly from the Supreme Lord. Then it is bona fide. Otherwise, how is it bona fide? Therefore, that succession where this realized scientific knowledge is coming directly from the Supreme Lord's lotus mouth and is passed on as it is, not with some masala, mirch masala, or diluted knowledge, not like that, as it is. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada gave us Bhagavad Gita as it is. Unlike other Bhagavad Gita editions, which are not as it is, they are all the interpretations of the author, whoever has given commentary. They are all interpretations depending on the whimsical thoughts and uh, feelings of the author. So they are not authorized, or they are not pramanik, they are not bona fide, because the author himself is not realized. Therefore it is said that unless one is under the shelter of a realized spiritual master, his understanding of the Supreme is simply foolishness. If somebody is not under the bona fide realized spiritual master, whatever he understands about the Supreme is all foolishness. However, one can fully understand the transcendental Lord by service and devotion. When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu offenselessly chanted the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, he declared that the mantra could at once deliver a conditioned soul from material contamination. In this age of Kali, there is no alternative to chanting this Mahamantra. Harer Nam, Harer Nam, Harer Nam eva kevalam, Kalau nasteva 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 gatir anyatha. Did the tape recorder get stuck here? Did Krishna think that the first time he said it was not audible? Or did Krishna think that in the Padma Puran where it is mentioned, is it because the readers or the acharyas, the sages are all foolish people? They will not understand if it is written only once? No. 3 times means it is to give this to show that how heavy or how important it is, the weightage, to increase the weight of it. Therefore it is said 3 times, Harer Nam, Harer Nam, Harer Nam eva kevalam. Kalau means in this Kaliyug, Kalau Nasti eva, Nasti eva, Gatir, Anyatha. Gatir means way out. There is no other way out, no other way out, no other way out in this Kali Yuga other than chanting this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, other than chanting this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, other than chanting of this Hare Krishna Mahamantra. It is stated that the essence of all Vedic literature is the chanting of the holy name of Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also told Prakashananda Saraswati, in order to convince me, Mahaprabhu is saying this, and so this me refers to Mahaprabhu. In order to convince me about this essential fact of Vedic knowledge, my spiritual master, that is Mahaprabhu's spiritual master, has taught me a verse from the Brihat Naradiya Puran 38.126. Harer Nam, Harer Nam, Harer Nameva Kevalam, Kalau Nasteva 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 Gatir Anyatha. So this verse is from Brihan Naradiya Puran 38.126. In this age of quarrel and hypocrisy, the only means of deliverance is the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. There is no other way. There is no other way. Still, there must be some other way. No, there is no other way. In 3 out of the 4 millenniums, Satyuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, people had to honor, to strive to understand the transcendence through the path of disciplic succession. But in the present age, so in the previous 3 ages, people had to through the path of disciplic succession, they had to strive to understand this transcendental knowledge or to understand the Supreme. But in the present age, due to the influence of Kali, people have no interest in the disciplic succession. People are not interested to get connected with any bona fide sampradaya. Because people will say, oh, there are so many rules and regulations. Why should we follow rules and regulations? We want to be liberated. We want mukti. Liberated means freedom. Actually, they don't understand what is freedom. When one follows these rules and regulations that are there, the 4 regulative principles, that is when the actual freedom comes. Right now, everybody is a servant of their senses. They are not actually free. They are servant of the senses. The senses tell them, dictate them, do this, we want this, and they run after that sense gratification. Are they servants or are they master? They are servant. They are servant of the senses. The senses are dictating. I want to eat this. Immediately we run because we want to eat that. I want to watch this. Immediately they want to run and watch that. I want to go here. Immediately the senses are dominating. But when one is following these four regulative principles, they become the master of their senses, and actually they are independent. They become free. They are no longer servants of the senses, but they are dictating the senses. Shut up. I don't want to go anywhere and anywhere. This is what I want to do right now. I want to read Srimad Bhagavatam. So then they become the master of their senses. But in the present age, in this, due to influence of Kali, people have no interest in the disciplic succession, because they have become such servants of their senses that they cannot follow all these rules and regulations, and therefore they also want to criticize the disciplic successions. They criticize sampradaya, bona fide sampradaya, and they want to get cheated because they themselves have this propensity of cheating others. Therefore they follow paths, many different paths of logic and argument. They will do as they wish, as they like. So instead, they have invented many paths of logic and argument. This individual attempt to understand the supreme transcendence, called the ascending process, is not the Vedic way. This Arohi Pantha is not the Vedic way. It's very clearly mentioned here. This Arohi Pantha that I will do according to my understanding. I have my own intelligence. I don't believe in all these things. I will depend on my intelligence and try to study all these things and see what and what is not. What is Mahaprabhu saying? This is not the Vedic way. The absolute truth must descend from the absolute platform. If somebody wants to know something about me, unless I say something about myself, other people saying many things about me, whether it is bona fide, whether it is true or not, who knows? But if I'm telling something about myself, that this is my name, I'm born here, they are my parents' name is this is what I can do, then that means it is coming directly from the horse's mouth, as we say. So, absolute truth must descend from the absolute platform. He is not to be understood by the ascending process. The holy name of the Lord, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, is a transcendental vibration because it comes from the transcendental platform. Goloker Premadhana Sri Harinam Sankirtan. And this transcendental platform is what? It is the supreme abode of Krishna. It is coming from there. Golok is Premadhan. Golok means the supreme abode of Krishna, Golok Dham. And Premadhan. Dhan means the wealth. And Prem means love. There is no such thing as love in this material world. Everything that we call love in this material world should be understood as lust. Love is only present in the spiritual world. So Golokir Prema Dhan, the pure ecstatic love of the Supreme Lord, of the Supreme Godhead Krishna, that wealth of Golok Dham, what is it? It is Harinam Sankirtan. And because there is no difference between Krishna and his name, the holy name of Krishna, as soon as we say Krishna, Krishna is personally present. Krishna. If we say some other name, then um, for example, here we have many devotees are here. So I may say Reena Mataji. Now suppose if I just sit, or Reena Mataji remembering her daughters. Now if Reena Mataji sits at home and says, calls out the daughter's name, so and so, so and so, so and so, or says the name of Nandini Priya, Nandini Priya, Nandini Priya. Is Nandini Priya physically present at that time near Reena Mataji? No. Maybe Nandini Priya is not even aware of it. But when we say Krishna, Krishna is personally present. Because of our contamination, we cannot see Krishna. That is different. But Krishna is present. But we cannot apply the same rule that, okay, because of our contamination, we cannot see Coca-Cola, we cannot see Nandini Priya, or we cannot see whatever other things we are. It's not true. Krishna is transcendental. Everything else is mundane. So therefore, there is no difference in the names of Krishna and his names. There is no difference. And the holy name of Krishna is as pure, perfect, and liberated as Krishna himself. Academic scholars relying on logic and argument have no entrance into the understanding of the transcendental nature of the holy name of God. those who are relying on logic and argument, they have no entrance into the understanding of the transcendental nature of the holy name of God. They can continue with their logic and argument. They can continue taking birth here, birth after birth, coming back to this material world, sometimes going to the hellish planets, sometimes they may go to the upper planets also, but again coming back to this material world, sometimes in the body of a human being, sometimes in other species, other bodies like trees, plants, uh, or cows, buffaloes, chickens, hens, snakes, any other species, but they will continue doing this. But they will not get entry in the understanding of the transcendental nature of the holy name of the Lord. What is the transcendental nature of saying Krishna? What is the transcendental nature of saying Hare? What is the transcendental nature of Ram? They will never understand. The single path for understanding the transcendental nature of, see how many times Mahaprabhu, Srila Prabhupada in this book, they, instead of just writing the Maha Mantra, Prabhupada is writing the full Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, because as many times we say this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, that much um, that much pure, or that much, to that extent we become purified. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada is giving us this chance of again and again chanting this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So the single path for understanding the transcendental nature of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare is the chanting of these names with faith and adherence. One should have faith and one should adhere to the instructions that are given to chant these names. One should adhere by it. One should have faith and one should do it every day. It's not today I did once, tomorrow I don't do it, 3 4 days I skip. It's like brushing your teeth. If you don't brush your teeth for 3 4 days, people will not come close to you, they will run away from you. Similarly, if we don't chant even one day, if we miss our rounds even one day, the heart will again become dirty, because we are very very conditioned and we are still not out of the, we are not out of our propensities also. Therefore we must chant with faith and adherence. Such chanting will release one from designated conditions arising from the gross and subtle bodies. So, and one should try to be very attentive while chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Inattentive chanting also is actually a Nam Aparad, but also even if the medicine works, but it will be slow. So, if we want quick working from the medicine, then we must try to chant with as much attention as much as possible. I heard um, a very beautiful um, way of an explanation from His Grace Adi Gadadhar Prabhu, and I had actually made a I made a printout and I kept it with me here. So Adi Gadadhar Prabhu very nicely he explained in Bhagavad Gita 4.11. We hear this verse again and again. Ye yatha mam prapadyante tam tathaiva bhajamyaham. Mama vartamano vartante manushyaha parthah sarvashah. As all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects, O son of Pritha. But the first two lines, ye yatha mam prapadyante tam tathaiva bhajamyaham, means as one approaches me or as one surrenders to me, based on that, based on their surrender, if I say Krishna, this is, I will surrender only this much, Baki, this rest of the part I will do according to my will. So Krishna will also say, okay, then I will focus on you only this much. Rest of the part you take care by yourself. Okay. So ye yatha mam prapadyante na. So His Grace Adi Gadar Prabhu very nicely explained this, that how we should understand this. Krishna says that when my devotee, now when I say my devotee, we have to put our name here. When my devotee, so suppose I am saying, so when I, Shama Karunamai Devi Dasi, or if Lokamon Krishna Prabhu is hearing this, so when Lokamon Krishna Prabhu will think about himself, all of you, so in think of yourself, put yourself when I say my devotee. When I chant my 16 rounds attentively, that means I'm listening to all my mantras attentively. What happens? Krishna is saying, I also listen to. So when I'm chanting my mantras attentively, Krishna is also listening to all the mantras attentively when I'm chanting. Because I'm chanting attentively, I'm focusing on the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra while chanting. Therefore, Krishna is also attentive to all the mantras because I am attentive. But when I am not attentive in my chanting, then Krishna is also not attentive during my chanting. Is it clear? Is that understandable? Um so I actually made a printout of this, and I keep it because this is very, very helpful. That whenever, because our mind is like a monkey, it will always go here and there. We are on the material platform, and our mind is like a monkey. It will always go here and there. Therefore, to bring it back, we must have certain things, which will bring back our mind. So this is one of them. Whenever I see, oh Krishna, if I don't listen, if I'm not attentive in my chanting, if I don't listen to my own mantra properly, then Krishna will also not pay attention to my mantra. That means Krishna is also looking on other side. Okay, let me do some other work, let me focus on other business. Because Shama Karunamai Devi Dasi is not focused in her chanting immediately. Okay, let me chant properly. So this is how we should chant. So with that, we'll pause here for today. And Krishna willing, we'll continue reading from tomorrow. Thank you very much, dear devotees, for your very kind association. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhuvya eva cha patitanam Vaishnaveभ्यो नमो नमः. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय. श्री श्रीमद श्रीला जय पताका स्वामी गुरु महाराज की जय. जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल.
हरे बोल.